There you go.
Perfect. Okay, Tuesday, March 31st, 2026, I'll call the Chickasaw County Board of Supervisors meeting to convene. Roll call, all members are present along with Board Secretary Sheila Shackleton. Is there a motion to approve today's agenda as presented?
So. Second.
Motion by Scott, second by Steve to approve today's agenda as published on Friday. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion is carried. Approve the minutes from the March 23rd at 9 o'clock public hearing on the max levy.
Second.
Motion by Travis, second by Steve to approve the minutes at the 9 o'clock on March 23rd. Sorry,
Scott.
I wrote Steve, I meant Scott. So Travis and then by Scott. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion is carried. Approve the minutes for March 23rd, 2026. That would have been the 9:15 regular meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Steve, second by Isaac to approve the March 23rd regular meeting at 9:15. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carried. We got a little bit of time here before public comment on the agenda. The black trailer down, discuss trailer owned by Chickasaw. Oh yeah, sorry, I was gonna do Sheila first. Review and approve proclamation that April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. Lisa did request this, her schedule didn't work. So I've asked Sheila to read the proclamation. This is an annual thing we do. We do have a Child Abuse Council. Lisa does serve on that for us, so.
Prevent Child Abuse in Iowa. Child Abuse Prevention Month Proclamation, April 2026. Whereas child abuse and neglect is a serious problem that can be prevented. And whereas our children are the most valuable resources and will shape the future of Iowa. And whereas child abuse can have long-term psychological, emotional, and physical effects that have lasting consequences for victims of abuse. And whereas protective factors are conditions that reduce or eliminate risk and promote the social, emotional, and development well-being of children. And whereas effective child abuse prevention activities succeed because of the partnerships created between child welfare professionals, education, health, community, and faith-based organizations, business, law enforcement agencies, and families. And whereas all members of the community benefit from creating conditions that support strong and healthy families. And whereas communities must make every effort to promote programs and activities that create strong and thriving children and families. And whereas we acknowledge that we must work together as a community to increase awareness about child abuse and contribute to promote the social and emotional well-being of children and families in a safe, stable, and nurturing environment. And whereas prevention remains the best defense for our children and families, now, therefore, I, Chickasaw County Board of Supervisors, do hereby proclaim April as National Child Abuse Prevention Month in Chickasaw County and urge all citizens to recognize this month by dedicating ourselves to the task of improving the quality of life for all children and families.
Appreciate that. I did talk to Lisa too. They're gonna put those blue children cutouts at the schools, public health, and other government agencies throughout the county. So Again, there's importance for child abuse prevention for the month of April. Is there a motion to approve April as Child Abuse Prevention Month?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Travis, second by Steve, to proclaim April as Child Abuse Prevention Month. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Motion is carried. Any public comment today?
I did not receive anything. Let me check with Don.
Yeah, perfect.
Don? Oh,
My first one would be quick, Chief.
No, sorry. I apologize. I need to get Travis Squires on the phone.
Oh.
He has another 9:30 appointment. Do you want to dial that number if you could?
okay. Oops. Sorry.
One second, sorry. Five one five. 326 04 11.
Do I just hit this one?
Yeah.
Just right there. No, I ended. No, is it written? Okay. Eight, six. How is that? Oh, it does it for you?
Laker, this is Garrett.
Hey, Garrett.
Hey,
Jake Hackman.
Jacob.
Can you hear me?
Yep, can you hear me?
Yeah. So this is Garrett from Travis Squires, partner. This is Jake Hackman, Chickasaw County Board of Supervisors in a supervisor meeting. We're live fed. Garrett, can you go over, discuss and adopt resolution 3-31-26-19, resolution directing the acceptance of a proposal to purchase a $3 million general obligation capital loan note series 2026.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for, some time here this morning. And, this is, Garrett Pokup, partner with Travis Squires. We just have a couple of different meetings going on this morning. So, we're kind of tag teaming those. But, in terms of the proposal for the county, the county took proposals yesterday afternoon, received proposals by, around 1:00 yesterday afternoon. Bids went out to a myriad of local, regional, and larger national banks, which is pretty typical for a private placement like this. Give lots of different banks the ability to bid. In the case of bids received yesterday, very successful bid opening. The county received 7 different proposals. Some from smaller, kind of more local banks, as well as some larger national banks. So we had put together a proposal summary. I think you may be able to see that.
Yeah.
But you can see that there. Luana Savings Bank, here local in Iowa, was the low bidder. And you can see there the average interest rate right around 3.987%. And then the other thing just to note there is under the call date section, that you can see they bid a very flexible call feature, which gives the county the ability to either eventually refinance the bonds or pay the bonds off early. So they submitted a proposal with an anytime call feature. So anytime between now and the final maturity with 30 days notice, to the bank. Those bonds can either be prepaid or called early. And then just to look at the other proposals that were received, you could see Zion's Bank being the cover bid there. The thing I would note here is a very tight spread. They weren't too far behind Luana Savings Bank at 4.08%. They also bid an anytime call feature. And then you can see again Northeast Security Bank, local bank for the county, Bank Iowa, Webster Bank, Customers Bank, and Capital One. And then you can see again those bids ranging from Luana's bid at 3.987 all the way down to 4.67. So again, we felt very good yesterday with the number of proposals received, as well as just the tight coverage between those different bids. And then in this case, pretty easy assessment between these with Luana Savings Bank having the low interest rate, most flexible call feature, and is also nice that it's a local bank here in Iowa. So in terms of document review from a legal perspective, we'll make your bond counsel's life just a little bit easier for the review of documents. So that's just a quick summary of the bids received, but I'll pause there, and Jacob, either if there's anything you wanted me to hit on or if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer any of those.
So the Luana Bank is a local branch in New Hampton also, so it is a Chickasaw County, a local branch of the Luana Bank. This is the first bank that we used when we did the radio project about 6 years ago. So they do have one of our bonds already. So this would be the second one. I think talking to Travis yesterday on the phone a little bit, you guys are going to recommend Luana Savings Bank to us because of those two things, the lowest interest rate and then the anytime call. Just so this is a 10-year note, I believe.
Yep.
Just so if we do get some more TIF dollars in and or we want to refinance or use more TIF money for other projects, we can go out for 10 years to pay this one back. Any questions, board members, for Garrett? So I know this email that we got from Travis, Garrett, came in at 11 o'clock, and I knew that was going to happen just because of all the work you guys are doing for other counties and cities also. Jason, has he responded back? I don't think so. Our bond counsel. So I guess if there's no other questions, or is there anything else, Garrett, for you to present, or?
No, I think you hit on that well, and I touched on the difference between looking at the interest rate as well as the call feature. But you hit that well. That with Luana Savings Bank, again, it was low interest rate and most flexible call feature. Sometimes those don't match up, but sometimes there will be a bank that will submit a maybe higher interest rate with a better call feature. So there's maybe a little bit more discussion. In this case, favorable interest rate coupled with, the most flexible call feature. And then, I didn't see anything additional come from Jason. I know the resolution, I believe,
We have
lists, I think, 3 million. But again, this will be for 1,850,000 for this borrowing.
Correct. Yep. Anything else for his team? Do you know when the closing date, or is that going to be all worked out through Jason yet, the league council?
I don't have the closing date in front of me. That should have been circulated on the timeline. We will also be sending around a final results packet that will show the actual debt schedule with the interest rates and the payments. That will have that closing date listed on there. So we'll be able to get you that, but usually that's around, 30 days after taking proposals. So it should be towards the end of April that the county would be receiving those funds.
Okay. So the loan amount is 1.85 million, and then your cost and then bond counsel's costs will come out of that too. So.
Correct. So total funds for the project will be around 1,806,000. I know the project cost was estimated at around 1.8 million. So we have estimated around 6,000 surplus that will be left over for the project.
That sound okay? I got the county engineer for the project.
Yeah.
Good? Okay. perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else for Garrett? Nope. All right. I think we'll move on this resolution shortly. So if there's no other questions for Garrett, we'll talk to you later.
Yeah, thank you for your flexibility this morning as well.
All right. Have a good day. Thank you.
Bye.
I was just gonna say for you guys, I did talk to Matthew, they're okay with delaying the mobilization payment. It was under 5,000, so
Perfect.
I told them it'd be sometime late April, early May, so they were fine with that.
So the resolution, Garrett, I'll have to get a last name, but the text message was Travis's phone, but Garrett, they're busy today. So again, back to the resolution 3-31-26-19, resolution directing the acceptance of a proposal to purchase $1.85 million general obligation capital loan note series 2026 from Luena Savings Bank, Luena, Iowa. This will start a process, get that timeline again. So after we accept it, then there'll be authorizing insurance at the next meeting, maybe 2 meetings away, and then a closing date where no meeting is required. So this is accepting, and then there'll be an authorization insurance in about a week or 2. You guys all got a copy of the resolution that was prepared by Ehlers and Cooney, a law firm, Jason Kamaski. Any questions on that said resolution with accepting Luena Savings Bank proposal in the amount of $1,850,000. For the project of B22, a secondary road. Is what the funds are gonna be used for.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Travis, second by Steve to approve resolution 3-31-26-19. Directing the acceptance of a proposal to purchase $1.850 million loan note series 2026 from Luena Savings Bank. Any discussion? If not, roll call. Travis?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Isaac?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Jake, aye. Resolution has been adopted. Thank you guys for that all. All right, a little past my 9:10, but 9:19, sorry. Summit Carbon Solutions Stakeholder Engagement Manager, Kylie Gibson.
Thank you. Good morning. I think most of you guys know me at this point, Kaylee Gibson, Summit Carbon Solutions. Just here, I don't have a formal presentation for you guys today, but I wanted to expand on some of the updates that Joseph gave you guys back in October. So I went back and watched the video from when he was here, and a couple of things that we can kind of expand on. He talked about the water usage and how we were looking at different ways to cool our capture facilities. We are now committed to not using water to do that. We're still looking at different ways for the different ethanol plants, just depending on where they are, but I think a lot of it will be air cooling. So that is something that has changed. We're for sure gonna move away from water into different options for cooling those capture facilities. He also talked about the potential of us going, instead of South Dakota to North Dakota to sequester, looking at going into Nebraska to Wyoming in what's called the DJ Basin, where we would sequester. That is something that we're looking very closely at now. I would say the last few weeks to a month, we've been looking really closely at that. Still, South Dakota is still on the table, but I would say, it's more likely that we'll be going Nebraska to Wyoming. So, you guys may know, I didn't catch it, Joseph talked about this, but we did, introduce an amendment to EOC, which would help us in that Nebraska option. So it would be, upsizing some of the pipe that is going into Nebraska through Woodbury County, because we were already planning on going to Nebraska because we have ethanol plant partners over there. So what we would do is kind of extend that line out all the way through Nebraska to Wyoming. But in order to do that, those the lines that were going into Nebraska would have to become our main line, so they would need to be upsized. So we have to get an amendment through the IUC for that. So what the timeline kind of looks like on that is, recently they gave all the parties involved 45 days to respond on how the proceedings should move forward. With that amendment, I believe that 45 days is up at the end of April. So at that point, we'll have a lot more information. We expect the IUC to set a scheduling hearing once that is done. And so, like I said, we'll have a lot more information once that scheduling hearing is done, because we'll know more about the timeline, whereas right now it's kind of up in the air other than that 45 days. Another thing, so I mentioned we're looking pretty heavily at that Nebraska route. We're also, because of that, we're reaching back out to phase one landowners, which phase one for our project would be everything before Navigator canceled and we picked up their ethanol plants. So you guys are phase one, but you're not affected in this amendment because, you know, you're all the way over here on the eastern side of Iowa, whereas the change would be mostly western. But what we've been doing is reaching back out to those phase one landowners, specifically over in that area where we have that upsize request, and talking to them. Let's see. Another thing Joseph probably talked about, but I'll go over it again, is our community benefits agreement that we introduced with the new management. So one of the things that's in that is the county grants. So once we're in operations, the counties would receive annually, I think it starts at 12.5 cents per foot of pipe in the county. And like I said, that would be an annual grant. And then it scales up based on acquisition in the county for the county payments. Which you guys, I was trying to look up the exact acquisition we have right now. I know you guys are in the upper 80 to low 90% voluntarily acquired. So you'll be getting between that 12.5 cents and 25 cents per foot. Because if we get 100% voluntary acquisition, it's 25 cents per foot per year. We're also doing the same thing for landowners. It's just a little bit different scale. So they start out at that 25 cents per foot per year, scaling up to 50 cents per foot per year. And that's based on state acquisition for the landowners. So a little bit different. You guys would be getting a grant based on county acquisitions, whereas landowners is based on state acquisitions. But regardless, there is a minimum for the county, 12.5 cents, for the landowners, 25 cents. We also added a $500 survey payment. So a lot of this survey, I believe, is going to have to, most of the survey here has probably been done, but it's probably going to have to be done again. So they'll get that payment. And I don't think that there's been a whole lot of, I know there hasn't been any major change in Chickasaw County. The only changes in routing that would be made is just based on landowner negotiation, you know, moving it on their property a little bit and stuff like that. So,
Was there also a $50,000 grant for EMAs?
yes. So that is another thing. Yeah, that we are doing that. It's $50,000 plus $1,000 per mile in the county. So that is a one-time, you know, in the beginning of once we start, but it will continue on. It just might not be that 50,000 per year, but we will continue that grant in some way. Which I can check with the new management. They may already have an idea on how that is going to be done. Any questions?
I don't have any.
Okay.
You know, it starts in the homeland area and goes west. Kind of follows a natural gas line, I believe, in Chickasaw County.
Yeah, that's kind of the standard, is if there's already aligned, we try to follow that where, land's already been disrupted as to not disrupt more land and, so. That's, but, of course, we also have to follow the new, state code on how to restore that land, which has been updated since Dakota Access pretty significantly, so.
Yep, we got some tile lines that need to be put back.
Yeah, well, we'll work with the landowners and you guys on that stuff as well. I'm not exactly sure, I can't remember off the top of my head if we cross any county tile here, but I know we do in other counties, so that's something that's definitely at the top of mind when it comes to permitting and working with the counties once we get to closer to construction. So.
Sounds good. We have a lot of county right of ways to go through.
Yeah, I'm
So long
sure it
since
gets
I looked
tired.
at it, I almost forget the specifics on the project. It's been
Yeah.
years.
I know, it's dragging out, but I'm sure we'll be bothering you again soon, so,
Looking forward.
yeah.
All right, any questions? Otherwise, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Since Roman's here, we'll move to Roman. Good morning.
Good morning, all.
A couple things on the agenda today is review letter of support for determinations made on Iowa DOT concept statement, form 517001, section 10 regarding the Chickasaw Mill property and approved signature by board chair.
So this is similar to what we did with the addition to Easterly, aside from the project scope. This would be for, I refer to it as Chickasaw Park, but I didn't even realize it was called Chickasaw Mill. We're doing a bridge deck overlay plan for FY '27. Basically in the form we put that, there will be no adverse physical impacts to Chickasaw Mill, recreational features, and the property will remain in its original condition, which kind of, it's a bridge deck overlay, we're not doing much aside from replacing the surface, so this is basically just required as part of the concept statement submittal for your guys' letter of support.
Is there a motion to approve?
I move to approve the chair signature.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Scott, second by Travis to approve the DOT concept statement form. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carried.
You got that, right?
Yes. Review of 5-year construction program to be submitted to the Iowa DOT.
Alright, so I sent you guys, sorry for the late send, but I sent you everything that I had. I can go through year by year if you would like. And then I also sent you some stuff regarding a proposed TIF schedule, so. FY '27, we've got the B56 concrete overlay from Highway 18 to B54. We did get a $1.81 million grant, or 80% of federal funding, whichever is less. Estimated at about 2.269 million. Then we got Bridge 19680 on South Lynn and Bridge 2770 on B28 over the Wapsie. Those are scheduled for that fiscal year. We have not received our CHBP grant that we applied for, estimated around $2.2 million in grant money. Basically waiting on the feds. Iowa was guaranteed $32.5 million. So we're hoping we get our portion of that. It's just we might have to delay because you can't move past check plans without having a funding agreement in place. I mentioned Bridge 1810 Bridge Deck Overlay Project on B57 at Chickasaw Park. Estimated currently at $232,000. That is a full depth overlay removal and replacement, so adds a little bit of cost. We'll see how the bids come in when the time comes. As far as day labor projects, construction wise, Bridge 0621 on 280th, west of Ivanhoe 0641 on Ivanhoe south of 280th. We've got those scheduled to replace with our crews. Those are beam and slab bridges. I won't mention the TIF stuff until I get through the actual list of what's in the 5-year program, because I didn't program all the TIF projects. for various reasons. FY 28, we got countywide pavement markings, estimated 205,000. Hopefully it's a little less than that. We got Bridge 0690 project on 290th Street. That anticipated to be a 350 to 375 foot bridge. It's an extremely long detour. That bridge was built in the 50s and it's approaching a posting. So we're gonna get that replaced. It's gonna be a high dollar bridge, but if you look at the detour, you either gotta go north 2 miles to 346 or south 2 miles to the county line. And then miles over as well. So I have B18 reconstruction and let's see, that'd be the Alta Vista reconstruction project that also includes a concrete overlay to the Howard County line. We got $840,000 grants for the city of Alta Vista. Also, the mayor received a phone call from Ashley Hinson directly stating that she is submitting their request, which I helped them out on that as well, for their portion of funding, which they were asking for about an additional $880,000, if I remember right. So that is in our urban renewal plan, which I mentioned in the TIF spreadsheet that I gave you. You know, current estimates, 4.75 million from the south city limits all the way to the Howard County line. We need to kind of think about where we're at on that. Urban Engineering, who is doing the city's design, Lindsay retired. He was working with WHKS, and he could give them what he had, and they could take the baton and get us to the finish line, but also we don't know, we're kind of getting tugged at from all angles here, because you got, hopefully Ashley Hanson's community funding project gets awarded to the city, hopefully TIF persists so we can fund it, but at the same token, we need to keep on project development to be ready for a letting in FY 28. We could push it to FY 29, Intercog allows that, it's been done with many other entities. But a good thing, you know, the grant that they got through Intercog, STBG grant, being a small city, it's not federal. And if we fund our portion with TIF, it's not federalized. So you don't have Davis Bacon wages, you don't have all the requirements and paperwork and markup that comes with a federal aid project.
Unless you get the.
Yeah, if the community funding gets given, then it will be federalized.
Yeah.
That's still worth it. I mean, otherwise, I don't know what we're gonna do with the city portion. I guess we'll have to wait and see on that. But I did include that in that project schedule that I'll go over in a second here. Culvert lining project, this would be on countywide farm to market routes, hard surface only. We got a ton of culverts that either need to be replaced or lined. A lot of them were placed without ties. Some are just, you know, minimal joint deterioration that's allowing sediment to come through. So looked at some other counties have done things like this. I just put 1.5 million in there as a safety net. I really don't think we'll be that high, or if we do get that high, it might be something that we do in divisions or something, north half, south half. And new this year, I did program 3-day labor projects in the second subsequent year. Typically, we just worry about next year. But I did include 3 other ones that our crews would build. This would be Bridge 0310 on 250th east of Mission, 1140 on Stanley south of 210th, and 1031 on 300 east of Beaumont. Subject to change. Everything's always moving around, so if there's one that's more important, we can shuffle it in, shuffle these back, take them out, whatever we need to do. FY 29, we got Bridge 19670 on South Lynn, as well as Bridge 19660 on South Lynn. So I'm coordinating with the city of New Hampton. We got this on the QBL and the eligible city bridge funding list. So they're gonna apply, the city has to do it. We could potentially get these projects paid for. 100% covered, which would be awesome. If not, it's gonna be 50-50 between Chickasaw County and City of New Hampshire. And again, we could shuffle those through a little bit too. I have them in FY 29 for the reasoning of if we do North and South Lynn in 23rd with TIF money. But that's also involved with the City of New Hampton too. So get those bridges replaced. Next year, go through with the paving project. Additionally, in FY '29, I've got B14 from 346 to Highway 18 through Ionia. So as I went through all these, I was keeping track of the farm to market balance. We can borrow ahead 4 years. The HBP Highway Bridge Project account, we can borrow ahead as well. Through all this, we're borrowed ahead, which is typical of many counties and usually us, but we're not exceeding the ability to let the project. If we found other sources of revenue, the project scopes could be changed. So right now I just have B14 from 346 to 18 as a Colton Place and HMA resurfacing project. B48 as well. They're both good candidates for this type of resurfacing. Alternatively, we could do a concrete overlay, but what I'm seeing is we're roughly double in cost from a 7-inch overlay to a 4-inch Colton Place with 3-inch HMA overlay on top. Yes, concrete lasts longer. I'm not gonna argue that at all. But we've got so many roads that have been paved in that 2000 plus or minus 5 years with asphalt, and now they're 26 years old or older. Asphalt's not anticipated to last 26 years. So it's kind of how many roads do we want to get done versus the quality or the longevity of what we're doing. It's tough when I would love it if we just had everything paved in concrete 10 inches thick throughout the whole county. That'd be awesome. But we're gonna run out of money quicker than we would with asphalt. It's just one of those things where some of these roads can't wait much longer for us to rebuild their funds. So I have, like I said, B48 and B14, both Colton Place HMA resurfacing projects. I'm hoping both of those would be through our farm to market. Being in the same year, hoping we'd get a better mobilization cost, better tonnage cost from whoever the supplier may be. FY 2030, I've got Bridge 19980, which is on B14 south 346, and then also B21 from Highway 346 to the Bremer County line. That was another thing. I applied to SCBG grant through Intercog. Buchanan County was equally, if not more, deserving, so we had to negotiate. I was able to get $1.4 million in funding. So right now I have that programmed as a Colton Place recycling HMA project. Could possibly change it to a concrete overlay if we see what these other projects do in the years to come. But either way, we got $1.4 million in grant money, which is great. Pavement markings again in 2030, and then 2031, we're getting really far out there. This is all kind of just really projecting. Shared project with Howard County. Nick approached me in regards to a Bridge 2991 on B16 east of Stevens. That'd be half Chickasaw, half Howard. We're looking at about 950,000 roughly. Bridge 2030, which would be on 160th east of B46, the diagonal north, going northwest out of Lawler. Got that programmed in there at $1.386 million. And then I did include Mission Avenue, which would be north of the maintenance shop there to Highway 63 as a PCC overlay. There would be some involvement with the city of New Hampton. That's at $1.493 million. Just projecting that, I factored about a 5% increase year to year from our most recent bids on pretty much all of these projects. So one thing I did at Bridge 1700, I wanted to do that. That's the bridge by Twin Ponds. That is another long detour. It's a long bridge. It is posted, not very low, but that's not even on the QDL because the condition rating of it was built in the 50s. So it was built for standard traffic that didn't exist back then. So that's the reason it's posted. It wasn't designed to hold our traffic, but it is in good condition, which makes it not eligible to be replaced with highway bridge program dollars. So it might be one of those things where our inspection firm say, hey, let's get that 5 down to a 4, so then we would be eligible. Because to be eligible for ADT over 25 and super substructure deck, or if it's culvert, a rating has to be 4, and that has like 665 on it. So So that's what I have in the 5-year plan right now. You guys got any questions on that? Because the next thing I'd like to talk to you about is the TIF stuff.
And the only thing that anybody would get a question on is the 150th bridge.
Correct. And I've told you guys, I've told you my opinion on it. I am totally fine with designing and building a bridge. I'll do it wherever you guys want. I don't care if it's in the middle of a field and there ain't even a river under it. If you guys make that decision, that's on you. But
No, I get it. So that's why I just, Steve, have you got any more calls in that area? That's your district?
I've had a few. And their comments up there is that there's 2 bridges up in that area on the same river that have been closed. Now, it's not the same river, one's a little Wapsie, one's big Wapsie, but one's of the county
the
line.
county line that's been closed for 10 to 12 years now.
Yeah.
It comes down to ADT. Bridge 0621 and 0641, they have lower ADTs than I like to see. But 0631, which is on Irwin, that's just east of there, that has 5 vehicles a day. It's posted, I'm suggesting that we let that close and remain closed.
Yeah. when the-
I don't know where you guys wanna stretch your dollar.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
I understand, everybody wants to keep bridges and roads open near them, but if that's gonna compromise our system as a whole, I have to advise that I don't think it's worth doing. But
I know that bridge in 150th, it doesn't have a lot of traffic count, but it's been such a low wait limit for so long that a lot of traffic could use it.
as far as I look back, the traffic count stayed the same. Just saying, as far as I can go back, and we can look at it again. But on that same token, we would either have to ask for an exemption for HPP dollars and shuffle this, or at some point, if you wanted to do a TIF project, that could be a TIF project. But I'm just gonna go back to the low traffic count, the smaller detour compared to a lot of our miles. It's totally up to you guys.
And you have that gravel road to the south there.
I know that they ask about low water crossings and all that, but it just, will not work with that layout. It's gonna bring the north-south road, we'll have to drop that as well, and you'll have a pond there.
So just to be fair, it's not in the 5-year plan. Right?
Currently not, but if you guys want me to, I can include it in the 5-year plan. Like I said, I'm not saying don't do it, I'm just advising you that you only got so many dollars to work with, so this would push other stuff back.
Is there a consensus to add it or just leave it out? And
That's why I came to you guys first. Technically, I'm supposed to submit these to the DOT preferably by April 1st, but it's technically April 15th. They approve it, then you guys approve it, but I wanted to come to you guys first before I send it to the DOT.
Well, just because it's added doesn't mean it has to get done.
But another bridge would be shifted because he can't spend ahead.
Well,
Which one
I
would
was to throw that one in. Now, keep in mind, we've got several big bridges on pavements that in the next 10 years, we're gonna have to think about. Bridge 1110 towards Wacoma would be one, that bridge 1700 at some point. Bridge 3090 on the Jericho Blacktop, Bridge 1620 on B57 towards Ionia. Those are just a few that come to mind. So look at here, that's the market. So right now, at the end of 2031, or in 2031 with the projects that I just talked about, we have available to yet let 4.5 years borrow ahead of $1.7 million. If we were to build that bridge contract wise, I think I told you guys around 1.3. So you're gonna set us basically to not being able to let anything for probably until 2033. We get about $1 million. And then if it's a $2 million bridge that we need to do, we're waiting longer or finding other sources of income. And these are just projections. Bid prices come in lower, our allocation, that changes year to year based off of the state's, our portion of the state's complete portion of Fort Ridge's square footage. There's a very big formula to figure that out.
Is there any more discussion on adding that bridge to the 5-year plan? If not, I think we're going to talk about TIF dollars if we do another project or two.
Or four.
Four. Go right ahead.
So the thing that you guys got in front of you is, I know there could be some shuffling there. It's kind of, I just went online, found an amortization calculator, which of course, we know the payments for the engineer's office, and the 3.35%. I put 3.35 in B22, figuring it's a larger amount, but then I guess we also extended the period to 10 years, so I'm guessing that's where that 3.987 or just the state of world affairs right now. You'll see the approximate payments year to year for B22 paving. T76, I brought it up to you guys. I would like to get that project done as soon as possible. I programmed it as a cold in place recycling HMA project, similar to what we're doing with B22, simply because if I did a concrete overlay, it's going to make it so we can't afford some of the other projects that, well, for one, Alt Vista is already in the URP, so is Northland and Southland, and the New Hampton Maintenance Shop. So just projecting out, if we were to, which we'd have to amend the URP to include these projects that aren't, and it revise the ones that are to the not to exceed amount. If we did include T76 as I have it, designated there, 1.95 million. 10 years, I'm just putting 6%, 10 years and 6% for all of these. Hopefully interest would be lower. You'll see that the remaining funds stays above, and anything above could be used to pay off an existing principal payment. The Alta Vista project, like I said, that's in I have it listed in 29. Like if we do need to move it back 1 year, whereas T76 would be in FY 28, but it'd probably be in FY 27 letting, kind of how B22 is in FY 26 letting and FY 27 construction, since they're gonna start in the middle of July. So I don't know if this is, if you guys are in agreement with this, your thoughts on it. I did speak with Sandy Salmon, finally called me back, Mike Plemish called me back, I have not heard from Charlie Thompson, and I have not gotten an indicator that TIF is going to be taken away explicitly. Mike told me that he'd keep me in the loop on that. He said right now it's more so possibly the school aspect, but then I brought up to him, I said I thought that's just with data centers, and he goes, yeah, thank you for correcting me on that, which I hope that that's correct, because we're not tipping data centers, we're doing wind turbines. Year to year, this could change, I don't know, next year we might be having the same fear, but if the TIF and urban renewal project funding availability continues, I think this is a great way to do it, because currently you got T76, which needs it, it's embargoed right now, we signed it last week. The Alta Vista project we've been talking about for years, and all the way up to Elma, Steve's favorite road. Northland and Southland, we did talk with New Hampton, they said tentatively 2030 on getting those stretches done. I brought up concrete versus asphalt, we said we'd have further discussions, because, we might have the money, they might not for concrete. It's gonna be one of those things that was chip sealed 10 years ago. It's in need of resurfacing now, so. And then the New Hampton Maintenance Shop, that's in the urban renewal plan already. I did kind of, a tour, that's another question for you guys, I guess. Do we wanna just go with them as the architect for that, or do we wanna go out for an RFP? They were the low bid for office, they're familiar with the site. They already actually sent up, at no cost, proposed layout. Just because when we had the pre-con, I talked with them in regards to it. So these are more things that we would need to.
And then the urban renewal plan would be updated because there's not enough money set aside for that parcel.
Yep, the urban renewal plan, with anything in here that is in the urban renewal plan, we'd have to look at the not to exceed costs and adjust them if needed. And then we'd be adding the T76 project, similar to like we did the B22. But I would say if we are gonna move forward with that, we should do it quicker than later.
Yep, so yeah,
We'd have to amend the plan and go through all the stuff that we did.
that's what I told Roman last week when we talked. The first step is sometime, I'd say in end of April, May, to update the urban renewal plan, get that thing updated to maybe potentially include 7, 8 projects, right?
Well, I even thought, let's just put every paved road in it, that way it's in there. And I could estimate it at the highest cost,
Because every time that, I think it's around $6,000 for the attorneys to review it. So if we just put in,
well, none of us,
I think.
we were all fresh going into this, none of us knew how this works, so. To me, I'd say anyone listening, if you're doing an urban renewal plan in a school district, just include every paved road in the first one.
using the same architect, we don't have to go out for bids for engineering or architect. They know, like Roman said, they know the location, they know utilities. If we moved
But that one,
28, 29 for that shop,
well, right now I have it in 3031 because I focused on roads that have, Alta Vista that's got $840 or $840,000 in STVG dollars tied up. We can't just kick that down the road much more than a year. So 28, 29, that has to happen. If the city of New Hampton's ready in 2030 to pave Northland and Southland, I say let's do it. So I hate to say it, but honestly, we had the maintenance shop, I believe, in 2030 anyways,
I think so.
in the urban renewal plan. So we're either gonna be on or 1 year delayed. That building is in need of replacement very badly, but I think it can limp by till then, if it means that these roads that are doing the same can get redone.
So the next 4 projects that Roman's discussed is T76, the Ella Vista project, and then Northland, Southland, New Hampton. And then the shop is his wish list for the next 4 TIF projects, if this board allows the update of the urban renewal plan and going out for a bond for those 4 additional projects in the future. We're talking a few years out. T76 maybe next year.
I would love to get that done next year before, otherwise by doing that, I'm thinking of having Matthew, while they're there, full depth patch, and we'll take care of any subgrade issues in those 3 spots that we got. Get that done, and, Denco looked at it with me, and they were gonna get us a quote on slurry leveling, and then possibly a scrub seal. I say, let's just get the road repaved, and we're gonna, that's probably gonna be $100,000+ for the work, just to Band-Aid it, to get it by for 4 years. And again, the B22 project, you're looking at numbers at 3.35 and 1.9 that I had in there, because I wasn't sure if we get the actual pay schedule for that bond, that's gonna modify these numbers slightly. I think 6 years and 10 year and 6% is a good projection for those other projects, but maybe you guys have other ideas. I'm not a banker or an accountant. So,
In this 5-year plan, did you figure any local option sales tax money for any of these projects? Like
No.
we did on the Cheyenne Bridge many years
No.
ago?
we certainly could, but on the same token, we've got pavement maintenance or other, that's also kind of an idea for you guys. If you wanted to save up and do a project, or if you wanna use that money for pavement maintenance. I think it's been helping to do it for pavement maintenance. But either way, it's a good thing, it's a great thing.
Yep.
We did build a whole bridge with local option sales tax.
More projects and money.
Which this, I will say that the 5-year plan that we have, and if we throw these in, that is an aggressive 5-year plan. Like, I'm gonna give props to my staff already for even trying to undertake this. but we'll do it.
Okay. Any other questions on the review of the 5-year construction program that he's gonna submit to the Iowa DOT for approval? All right, thanks, Rowan. Department update?
See, last week, maintenance staff, crossroad culvert replaced on 160th in LaSalle area, ditch cleaning, multiple locations, blades were out all week, regular routes. All snow fence has been removed. Shouldering and edge routing on B48 south of Fredericksburg, about 3 out of 4 of those miles are completed. We were spot rocking various locations with dump trucks as well as we got the belly dump going. Our most recent hire, Austin Rice, is running it, and Tyler says he's doing a damn good job. Let's see, bridge crew was busy with guardrail repair, erosion control repairs, drift removal of various bridges. Sign crew did general repair maintenance of signs. We've had a lot with burning. We did put a notice in the newspaper. People are responsible for the cost of damages to utilities and county signs.
So I've got a lot of calls on that. I guess I wish we would have been, you would just let us know that you're gonna put that in the paper. Because when people call and say, what's going on here? Not sure.
Oh.
But, I mean, I guess I would rather you put in that if you burn ditches, you're responsible for any damage done to signs or whatever, instead of saying you have to get a permit. Now people are wondering if they have to get permits.
Oh, working in the right of way.
Right. And so that, no.
People have to get a permit to dig a ditch, to put an entrance in,
So,
to put a tile in, to work in our right of way.
so if they're spraying ditches or mowing ditches that maybe,
If it's by the book, yes.
in their
If I drive by someone and they're spraying in their ditch, am I gonna pull over and say you got a permit? Probably.
I mean, their comment was that, yes, it's county right away, but they technically.
It more so helps us track who is actually burning.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it would come down to the landowner, is whoever burned it, it really should come down to the landowner this long, but anyway, big thing is that if we would have known it was coming out, at least I could have said, yeah, Roman talked about it, and this is why, instead of saying, I gotta check on it, because I don't know.
Yeah, sorry.
Do you put that in usually every year? Or is it-
We put a lot of notices in, but this was the first time we put that.
The fire chief in Alta Vista asked if the fire department's there, do they still need a permit? And again, I asked.
I would say you should probably have a permit, but like I said, I'm not gonna go police this. There's a lot of counties that do it, there's a lot that don't, there's a lot of people that turn a blind eye. It comes down to we have a lot of signs getting burned, people aren't doing it right.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not, sorry if we didn't tell you, but we're really sick of replacing signs that could have simply been weeded around, dug out around, sprayed around. I burn ditches at my house, I burn stuff, CRP, you take precautions. Same with utility installations, you wanna talk about a costly. I mean, a wood post, yeah, you're gonna be out labor equipment and a wood post, but you burn some of these utility beds, you might have a pretty big bill coming at you. So, just trying to get people to be careful and think of what they're doing. And I guess the permit, that's kind of the purpose of the permit, just to be self-aware, not so much, like, personally, I don't care about the permit. If people would just use their heads when they burn, try to not let things get out of control. So, sorry for that. T76 embargo signs were installed on 324, and right after they were installed, we heard that, well, we know some of the people that were driving on it already. So, see how that goes. Again, if we're maintaining or deterring traffic from being on there at all and preventing some sort of damage, I'd say it's worth it, but no real way to quantify that. Shop, general repair, maintenance, they did undress number 37 one way, so we do have 5 trucks remaining dressed. I would assume after this week, that'll pretty much taper down to 1 or 2. We have had April snowstorms, so we don't wanna get caught with that. Design development work. B22, we've got a pre-con scheduled for today. I have been told tentatively mid-July start. So just so everybody's aware, we will probably send out a letter to landowners on that route, this week or next week, once we get definitive word in this pre-con. Surveying B14, B21, Liza and Ben got those pretty well wrapped up for the most part. Engineer's office building, I was supposed to start, let's see, last week Monday, this week Tuesday, and now with the rain all week, they said next Monday. I don't wanna dig a hole and have it fill. CFYP is pretty much what I've been spending this last week or two on. Did meet with Denco Highway to discuss pavement maintenance projects. I will be meeting with Matthew after the pre-con to go look at some of those spots on T76. I didn't know if you guys have any appetite to amend the FY 27 or 26 budget, probably 27. Or recent, can we just change the numbers now for the 0035 account to cover these full depth patches? Based off of quotes. The infrastructure fund. To do some full depth patches.
To do that before we publish it.
Huh?
We were gonna publish it this morning yet.
Yeah,
That's gonna be tough.
okay, so I'm saying maybe an FY 27 budget amendment to include those.
Correct.
Okay.
Like a July budget amendment, like we
Yeah.
always get stuck doing, just because things happen the last 3 months here.
Just making you guys aware of it. I'm gonna work on getting some quotes. I know that it was also discussed to do that, it's roughly 900 feet from where we left off with the B18 overlay project to where we patched in Alta Vista. But I don't know if you guys want to do that now, if, again, so many unknowns for that Alta Vista project. If we don't get, Alta Vista don't get their portion, if TIF gets eliminated, I'm betting that asphalt overlay that we put is kinda gonna be the way things are for a while.
It's gonna be pushed out for another year anyway.
So I can get quotes on both, I can approach you guys. So yeah, I mentioned City of Alta Vista got the call from Ashley Henson. The week prior, we did have winter operations Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, one ways and maintainers out. I mentioned the belly dump, Kenworth, those are rock hauling now. We did send out letting backs for Bridge 0621 and 0641. Those will be due in the engineer's office on April 14th, which is a Tuesday. I'll review them, and then get your guys' approval the following Monday. That's just for the supply and delivery of structural steel for our crews. Bridge 2000 on Vanderbilt, North Little Turkey Blacktop, tree cutting was completed prior to the deadline of March 31st for bat habitat, that's a requirement. And then I mentioned the intercog $1.4 million grant that we got for B21. Just so you guys are aware, 7-inch PCC overlay, total estimated cost about $2.845 million. So we'd have about 50% funded on that. Otherwise, if we do a cold in place, we're looking at about 1.46 million, so we can only get 80% federal funding. So probably see what on that we got 4 years, so but we've got 1.4 million, which is nice. That's all I got.
All right, Chris Roman, any questions? If not, thank you.
Thank you.
Going from the top down, custodian Dave Gorman, good morning, Dave.
Good morning.
First thing on the agenda is discuss changes for the RFP for the window replacement project in next fiscal year for the courthouse. We all got a copy of it. It's like a
Pretty thick.
pretty thick RFP. A little bit as Dave told me, maybe correct me if I'm wrong. CR Window Company has done this free of charge.
For free, yes, they created the RFP for donation, really.
So they're requesting anything that we change in it. There's a lot of things that are unanswered yet. I guess, Dave, you did a survey of county staff or state staff.
I did, yes, just to get an idea of what the majority of the staff preferred as far as windows go. After talking to each office individually, I made a little note here that most everyone preferred the top smaller windows to be a darker tint, which would make sense. Most everyone wanted the bottom windows to some degree of tint, probably not as dark. And then as far as the function of the windows go, Looks like everybody preferred crankouts like we have right now.
What about blinds in the windows itself? Did I hear south, east, west?
I believe right now, the way it looks, most of the windows that face south and half of them over here on the west side and half on the east side, which would be the half more towards the front, currently have blinds in them. I think the blinds are probably okay. I believe that in talking to CR Glass, the design of the blinds, and I've never actually seen them physically, but they indicated that the blinds that they would have in them are controlled just by a string, so there's a minimal amount of parts to wear out.
Yeah.
So it sounded like the life of those blinds would be, pretty long.
So I guess I'm asking what the board wants to do. I mean, I think this has to take some time yet to fine tune this RFP before we can approve it to be sent out to vendors. Remember the individual talked about the top pane being like a shield or a reflector. Do we want natural light to come in the top ones yet if we're gonna dark it out?
As far as the top ones go, I don't think it's a real critical deal as far as how much light comes in. It's probably a preference more of looks than anything.
So yeah, that's why you're trying to keep the looks outside the same.
Right.
I mean, to me, it's easier to put a piece of darkness so no light comes in, but
Right.
if we're gonna stick lines up there, how are you gonna reach them?
I think it would make more sense to dark tint them than have lines on the top ones.
Oh, I agree. Are you guys okay with the crank out style again? Kind of like what we have at the community service building? And then I guess we'll try to get some egress windows on the second and first floor. Like he talked about, that would match all the way up to the third floor, the size width. Because there's a minimum size width on some of those panes.
Correct. Yeah.
So yeah, me and Dave will work on that probably 2 weeks from now yet before we have a final RFP.
And then talking to CR Glass, as far as the timetable goes, they indicated to me that if we had, just hypothetically, if we went with them, the windows would need to be ordered by the 1st of June to keep the ball rolling to get them installed yet this year.
Yep. And that'd be subject to change, whoever the vendor is.
Yes.
So anybody want to help me and Dave or? Okay. So me and Scott will work on get it to a finished product and then we'll get it back to the board hopefully in 2 weeks. We're gonna match the color that's out there, more of a brown look.
Yeah, brownish look, I believe, would match pretty close to what we have now.
Correct.
But obviously, the insides would no longer be the wood grain.
Any other questions on those window replacement RFP that we are gonna continue to work on? If you have anything, just let me know. Moving on to discuss and approve 2 part-time on-call custodians, Stacy Taylor and Cherie Eidiker, at $17 per hour effective tomorrow, April 1st. You can explain a little bit, Dave, what you came to conclusion.
Yeah, I had 4 applicants. One dropped out shortly before we started interviewing, and then one of the applicants that I thought would probably work out okay, as far as the skills that it would take to be, do the lawn care and stuff like that. That individual, I believe, had gotten a full-time job, so his availability would probably have only been in the mornings and then early afternoon. But then after I called him and we discussed it a little bit further, and after I offered the job to him, I think he decided that it probably would not fit his schedule to, be feasible to drive a distance to come here for an hour or 2 and then go back home again. So that left me with 2 applicants, which are the ones that I'm recommending now. The one applicant, Stacy, she would be more doing the the flower beds like she donated before. And then maybe a little bit of interior detail cleaning and painting. And then the other applicant, Cherie Eidiker, she would more be the outside, helping me with the outside detail work and things like that, so.
So we mentioned last week at $17 an hour, start off. Dave, you did mention to me that maybe we could revisit this after 6 months, depending on what the wages due on June for other staff with custodial.
Yes.
Because you know, right now Zach is at $17 an hour also, so.
Yeah, I would like to keep him at least a little above,
No, I
just
get
for
that.
longevity, so.
We picked a date, I guess Dave did, of April 1st, tomorrow, part-time on call. You will schedule them, you will no more than 25 hours, combination both.
Correct, yeah, and they both understand, one has a full-time job currently, the other does not, but, both of them are okay with the part-time on-call, so they know that the hours are gonna vary up and down. Some weeks there might not be too much, and other weeks there might be more, so.
Is there a motion to approve said individuals?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Travis, second by Isaac to approve Stacy Taylor and Cherie Ediker at $70 per hour effective April 1st, 2026 for part-time on-call custodial department. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, anybody opposed? Motion carried. Dave, if you want to stay for this trailer discussion a little bit, because you might have to help show it.
I'll just give you a quick update too. I talked to Mick Gage this morning. The air conditioning unit for the courthouse, he is thinking next week. He knows the weather, the remainder of this week and early next week doesn't look too good, but he plans on coming to install the air conditioner as soon as the weather shapes up next week. So,
Dave,
Yep.
will there be, I don't know how I want to say this, like parking access limited, or is there anything people should be looking for?
yeah, the parking on the north side of the courthouse, I'm assuming, I haven't heard for sure,
Yeah.
but that morning that they removed the old unit, put the new one up, the parking back here will be limited for that, a little bit of that morning.
People should be just aware.
Yeah,
Okay,
just be aware that next week on one day, which we don't know yet,
okay, yeah,
it could be limited for a couple hours, so.
Yeah.
It usually doesn't take them too long to do this once they get everything rolling, so.
And since we're talking about updates, the part of the panel on the second floor is gonna be changed out this Friday at noon. A good time to do that, I guess, when the county is shut down at 12 o'clock. So I was approached by Steve Kennan, the chair of the Pioneer Cemetery Commission, to discuss this trailer owned by their commission, but it's registered under Chickasaw County. I got the registration back here that I took out of the trailer this morning, and the key that unlocks the padlock. They would like to sell this trailer. It's too small, they don't need it anymore. I shared with you guys pictures of the inside, the outside. It's a 1999 black cargo mate. 27 years old. So in the past, the county usually put that in general fund. When we sold this, they got their budget to use funds out of. Just looking at a direction of selling this black cargo 1999 cargo mate trailer. They have no purpose for it anymore. Small trailer, I don't know if you guys wanna, we don't have an account with Purple Wave or GovDoc, whatever. Maybe something on the paper, website, give it 3-4 weeks, I don't know, guys. I don't know what it's even worth. Any ideas? I think I'll just put it on the website.
I think you just mentioned local.
Yeah, I think local people. So, what I'm hearing is that this is local newspaper, advertised for 2-3 weeks. It's just sitting in the parking lot down there at the LEMC building. It's, nothing's in it. Like I said, I took the registration out and the keys, so it's locked up. Nobody can take the hitch, is what I mean by that. Dave, I guess if you wanna show, if you get a phone call, we'll put your phone number on it to look at it.
Sure.
You guys think in 3 weeks, get them back by
And we're doing bids.
sealed bids, yes. 17th, April 17th by 4 o'clock. We'll open them up on the 20th of April. For this 1999 black cargo mate trailer. And we'll type up a little advertisement for
Okay, and we'll put this in next week's.
next week's paper. So it'll be advertised in the paper for 2 weeks, or 2-week notice, and then it'll be on the website until sold. Good enough? Is there a motion to advertise for this?
So moved.
Perfect.
Second.
Motion by Travis, second by Isaac to advertise this for sale trailer, 1999 black cargo mate, bids due back April 17th by 4. Open them up on April 20th, regular meeting. Contact will be Dave Gorman to show if somebody wants to look at it. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, anybody opposed, motion carried. Thanks, Dave.
Okay, thank you.
Discuss and approve an addendum to the IT consultant contract fiscal year 25-26 for an additional 50 hours effective April 1st. Denny sent me and Sheila an email early last week, I think it was, that he's down to only 16 hours left of a master contract of 300 for general services, Chickasaw County IT. Most likely he's probably out, closely out today, tomorrow. And I'll have some work over the weekend to shut down the system, put it back up, just like any normal power outage. And then he'll start working on his server upgrade. So he's recommending an additional 50 hours to his master contract for the next 3 months. It's gonna be at the $90 an hour, same rate, you guys all saw that.
So that's the total.
He will get with me next week or the following week on his new proposed contract for July 1st. This action though is just for an additional 50 hours, and we kind of knew this, we've had some discussion in the past, so. If you guys are okay with it, is there a motion to approve the additional 50 hours for IT for FX 2020 and authorize a chair signature on the additional 50 hours?
So. Second.
Motion by Scott, second by Steve, to approve and authorize chair signature on the additional 50 hours effective April 1st to FX 2020, our IT consultant. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion is carried. Acknowledge update ownership information for Town and Country Club.
So, and then next week we'll have their renewal plan, but, for right now, they have changed some of their ownerships, so it went through the, Dram Shop. And so we need you guys to go through it and acknowledge the change.
This will be the Nashville Town and Country. Is there a motion to update the change in ownership?
Yeah, so if you look in here, here's what it used to
Was and the new ones.
Yeah.
Couple members.
So. Second.
Motion by Scott, second by Steve, to acknowledge the updated ownership information for the Nashville Town and Country Club. This would be their liquor license.
This isn't the liquor license, that'll be next week.
No, that's a change of ownership.
Yeah, just a change of ownership is all we're doing,
Yeah.
acknowledging that.
Perfect. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, anybody opposed, motion carried. The last thing here is to discuss the budget work session. All budgets may be discussed. And then I think Sheila has an update on the vision insurance plan.
So we had, sorry about the vision. So last week we were talking about vision, and so I reached out to Jennifer, who is working with me on this, and we had two options. We had option 1 and option 4 with Delta. And like for one employee, for option 1, it was $6.34, with option 4 was $8.72. The difference between these two plans is how much they cover on the progressive lenses. So it looks, like option 1, looks like it covers more. Or no, you gotta pay out, that's your copay. Yep, so option 4 pays out more than option 1. That's
Was there
what's-
an option to offer both of them or not?
No, she said one or the other.
Just one or the other.
Mhm.
So which option do you guys want? Option 1 or option 4? I guess anybody that needs it, have they talked to you about what option?
I guess they're just, the people I've talked to are just thrilled that you're doing one, yeah. You know, we can probably, if they need something next year.
Change it or,
Yeah,
excuse me, is there a consensus or a motion to allow vision with IGHCP on either option 1 or option 4?
and we'll let the departments know about this if you guys go ahead with it. And then in open enrollment, that's when they'll have a chance to enroll on.
Yep, if they have questions, they can.
I would say option 4, if we get you a better price on those lenses. I would agree. I was gonna say the same thing.
Is that a motion?
For sure. I'll second.
Motion by Scott, second by Isaac to approve the vision insurance plan for fiscal 26-27 with
Option 4.
option 4. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed, motion carried. So Sheila, you did give us your new updated budget,
I did,
and that's where you did what we asked?
Yeah.
Okay,
I put the deputy down to clerk, or I put the deputy at
a freeze.
freeze on.
Yep. And I think Keith is here because we also made VA adjust their budget. Any concerns, Keith?
I'm just coming around here, I guess I had to say about it.
So our request like 2 weeks ago, I think it was already, was to, whatever the commission suggested is, I think a lot of the board members felt the 4%, like 99% of other people are getting this year. Unless you guys have different opinions. That was sent out, I think, in December email to department heads. That to figure budgets at a 4% or $1.50. And then present to us at the budget time. So. I believe Katie got that budget to you over the
She
last
did.
week or
She
yesterday?
got it back to me the week prior, and then I had to work on some numbers, and I just sent it to her last week to sign off of.
So this next then is to approve the public hearing. That is that big packet that Sheila has prepared.
Well, and again, that packet has to do with the dome budget.
Information, it's the
Yeah.
service areas, it's the revenue sources.
It has everything here. But on top, I gave you, the public notice for the budget that I'm gonna be sending to the paper if you guys approve it, because everything's on one page, where when I printed the other stuff, it took 2 pages, so I gave you the one there. Overall, our budget for 26-27 is in the left column. That's everything that we're levying or thinking that we're gonna receive as revenues. In the very bottom, and we should receive, we're thinking about $18,474,000 worth of revenues. We're gonna have, you guys told me I could, put transfers in. We don't have to do them, but in case we do, we got $4,272,672 of transfers. And so they consider that a revenue source, so a total of $22,746,893 in revenues and transfers. Then we go into the expenditures. We have every service area, and you can go into the back of this, and it's all broken down for you of the paperwork I gave you. But we put together $25,715,390 worth of revenues, or excuse me, expenditures. And we're gonna have, again, $4,272,000 worth of transfers. So you notice the revenues and the expenditures for the transfers cancel each other out. So we're looking at, we're gonna be using our, fund balance of like $7 million. That is what we're thinking in excess, from our revenues to our expenditures. And the reason that it's so high, you guys, is because of our capital projects. We budgeted the $3 million. We budgeted the $600,000. And there's some others that did not get done in 25, 26. So to cover ourselves so that we're able to spend and be able to do it, we had to take it in 26, 27, where that revenue was already recognized in the past period.
And Sheila did ask, do we lower the 3 million now down to 1.850 million?
We can't,
It's tough because
it's budgeted. You can only do that if we have a budget number.
to
So,
fix it, to clean it up.
and then the third or second column, this is our re-estimate. So when we were asking everybody, well, what do you think you're gonna get back? What do you, what aren't we gonna be using? This is that column that is on our budget for the dome. And it's just put into a nice short version. So when you, then you have what we actually went through for 2024-25. And then we have a change of percentage in the last column. The reason that we have positive numbers is because we, in 2024, 25, 26, we recalculated what was coming in and what was going out. When the other departments would say, I'm gonna give back 300,000 and stuff like that. So we lowered their budgets to show that we weren't gonna use as much expenditure. So like for the public safety, it looks like we increased the budget by 7%, but we actually didn't. It's just that we re-estimated what we were gonna spend on that budget in 2025, 26. The biggest factor I want you guys to be aware of is the very last one, 212%. This is the capital project. So remember I said that we had to move the 3 million and the 535, plus we have that 1 million, 5 million, or 1.5 million in there. So that increased it.
For the courthouse windows and potential concrete project.
And in order for me to move it, I had to decrease it in 25, 26.
Reasons on the bottom, we can change these, but we gave up some significant changes. Those, like I said, significant items in the budget or additional virtual meeting information. We just picked on 3 lines that were very above that 10% roughly change. Line 21, increase due to grants received for forest and expense to match. Line 26, debt service increase due to TIF projects. Line 27, increase in capital projects, examples, B22 road and the secondary road office, because they will move to fiscal 26, 27. And then we also include the window project for the courthouse.
Any questions
Yeah.
or concerns?
These, on the third sheet is our levy rate that we had a max hearing last week on. We're taking that to a public hearing. If you guys want sheets before the public hearing, if we make this motion, it is set for April 13th at 9:10 in the boardroom on the second floor of the courthouse. The salaries are listed in this packet of elected officials. Like Sheila said, all the service areas are in front of you. It's a working document, always subject to change with day-to-day
Yeah,
operations.
we just heard that with secondary roads.
I think it's a well put together budget, with a decrease. State law makes us decrease GB, we lowered GS, and we also lowered RSP. The last sheet shows you the max levies that it could have been, at 3.39806. Have to be there for GB, we know that to trigger the GS levy, but RSP, we did lower that down to, was it 3.1? So. Any questions on the proposal for publication reasons? Again, always subject to change, even at the public hearing or after. We can't go higher, but we can go lower in tax asking. If we indeed don't think we need all that revenue from property tax owners. And if there's some changes in the state lawmakers, we will take that consideration, I guess, on April 13th, if there's anything moving. And then we might want to collect what we are asking. So. Any other questions, concerns? Is anything else needed on the explanation on the bottom? If you have any questions, let us know. Otherwise, is there a motion to publish in the papers?
I'll make a motion, set public hearing for April 13th at 9:10 in the boardroom on the second floor of the courthouse. Fiscal year 26-27 proposed budget. Direct the auditor to publish notice of public hearing in the New Hampshire Tribune on April 2nd and National Reporter on April 3rd.
Second.
Motion by Travis, second by Steve, to set the public hearing for April 13th at 2026, as Travis mentioned. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye, anybody opposed, motion is carried. Just going back up to budget work session a little bit, just an FYI, I was looking at the book behind us, I believe it's still back there. And 3 departments, am I gonna mention them? You guys can look them up, it's a public record. They're almost floating around where they're supposed to be at 1% at this time of the year. With 3 months left, Sheila did visit with those 3 departments, and it sounds like one might need by the.
It will go more in the following days.
Yeah, so there might be one more budget amendment unless we say no to it. They have to live within their means. I guess we'll get back from that director to see if they need it or not. It's public health, I'll just share it, you guys can see it. It's above that threshold within 0.5% roughly.
Well, it was under the threshold, but it was right
It was
Yeah.
close, so that is one department that I'm keeping an eye on, not picking on them, I don't pick on people, it's just those numbers are really tight right now with 3 months left with, payroll as the main concern.
And it sounded like it was therapy, and they have no control on who's having, replacements of joints and that.
If we do need one, and this board does support one, I think we need to know that in the next 2-3 weeks for sure. To get the notice out, and if we do one, I'm maybe just thinking maybe like that May 4th or May 11th, but again, we don't have to do it, I'm just giving you guys an update of a department that might not want to make it, we'll put it that way. Anything else, board, on the budget work sessions? I think we've done it great this year. Just keep in mind, I'd look back with Sheila's help on the public hearing date. That's when we had a resolution to approve elected official wages. So if we approve the budget as presented, there'll be a resolution probably right after that to approve the elected officials' wages on the April 13th also. Keep that in mind. Otherwise, any committee assignments?
Yeah, I had
pathway on the 23rd, Monday the 23rd. We went over February financial statements, approved funding from Chickasaw County through opioid settlement for Too Good for Drugs in the middle school and elementary schools in Black Hawk County. Now, you don't like this word, Jake, but we approved staff spring bonuses. And they also discussed going with another investment firm, looking at a couple of different options.
Just make it wage adjustment. Steve?
I had a Northeast Iowa Committee action on March 23rd. Presenter was Judy Buddingsberg. Talked about redoing her software. Talked about budget. Talked about a 5-year budget on their new duty. Board vacancies. They have a vacancy for Chickasaw, Howard, and Clayton County. And that's about it.
I mean, not as a board supervisor, but as a community member?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, the supervisors, it's, you don't have a choice.
No, exactly. Any question, anybody else?
I had a Northeast Iowa RC&D on March 26th. We had our annual meeting, which was really short because we barely had enough for a quorum. Basically, we had election of officers, which stayed the same as it was last year. And that was it for that one.
Was that March 26th, did you say? Okay.
Same day I had a regular business meeting, same time. So they had a pharmacy approach them about selling their building, the building that they're in. And they were going to move to the old lumberyard, which RC&D also owns. Because they wanted a drive-through pharmacy pickup deal. Well, that's kind of on hold now. And something about financing for the pharmacy.
Is that an Alcator?
No, it's in Postville.
A postal?
Yep.
Okay.
And we had one of the staff over there did a presentation on the motor mill, the old motor mill on the river at Alcator. Pretty cool. But other than that, it was something.
Heartland meeting on Thursday. We found out Brent Henders is starting his own firm. We had some discussion as whether or not when we had hired Brent as one of our Heartland attorneys, whether we had hired his firm or not, but the contract is strictly with Brent Henders, so he will continue as a Heartland attorney. We had a closed session on some claim settlement discussions. We went ahead and hired an actuary to continue doing a new rate study. Let's see. We do have, and I didn't bring it with me, Jason, on my desk at home, is a back to work policy that has been approved by Brent Henders. But I want to state that it is not a Heartland policy. It is just something to advise us that we can use to develop our own
Guidance or?
just kind of a guidance for us to use. Let's see here.
I did visit with Scott about, we had some concerns from small vendors of our insurance liability.
Yeah,
Did
so
that
we
get
passed
brought
that together a couple weeks ago. We've had some people reach out, not happy about the umbrella portion of the policy. And I've been in touch with someone, most people at Heartland, there was only one other county that's really kind of done what we're doing there, and, still trying to gather some more information on what we could do to tweak that maybe a little bit. Because, I know one of the contractors reached out to me, it was gonna cost him an additional $3,000 a year for his insurance, on that, so.
And some of these vendors, I don't wanna pick on any of them, but you know, they're like our smaller vendors that does like contract work, and it's not the big road projects, it's not the big contractors, it's these example pest control or electricians or plumbers that are a one-man shop that really don't wanna have the high liability, because they really don't need it when they're a one-person shop. So they've reached out to me, they reached out to Scott, if they reach out to you guys, let
I
me
got a
know.
phone call this morning about it as well.
Yeah, so I think we have to revisit that. It's gonna be on the agenda in the future. But I think Scott's working with his Heartland team to figure out what other 9 counties are doing with these smaller vendors or contractors. We still need proof of insurance. I think it's the one umbrella.
It's the amount, I think we just gotta look at, the amount that we're required versus the job that contractor's doing.
Correct. The risk that they put on our buildings or job sites.
The only other thing from, just as because of an update, MVR reports are due to Heartland by 6:30. So I think if we have those, I can take them, we have a meeting in May,
What is that?
The driver's license,
Oh,
motor vehicle. That's all I got.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Discuss future agenda items. April 6th, I know Roman's gonna be on it for, contract rock letting. Probably some more bond stuff. Otherwise, and claims. As of right now, there's not much scheduled yet. It is a short week for county staff. Have a happy Easter, and is there a motion to adjourn?
so.
Motion by Scott, second by Travis to adjourn at 10:43. All in favor, say aye. Aye, anybody opposed? Motion carried.
thank you. Thanks, Bob.
Just
That was teeth.